MSJPodcast.
Hey everyone, how are you guys? And today we have a guest. She is from basically Germany, but I met her in USA, and it was so great that we became one of the best friends in our time back in 2012. And now it's 2023 and 10 years just passed, and I felt like calling her up in my podcast. And here you go. She is the manager in KPMG, and she is working with financial thing. She's a finance girl, and more than that, through KPMG, she's impacting the world in sustainable behavior for the big conglomerates or big corporations. Anyway, so welcome. How are you, Christina?
Hello, Sabbir. Yeah, thank you that I'm happy to be here and talk to you, and it's good to talk to you again, of course. And we always stayed in contact over these 10 years. It was, because it was deep friendship and still is. And well, how am I? German way to answer. I could tell about my life and everything. We will talk about this later,
Sure.
But I'm good. Thank you very much. I hope you're good as well.
Yeah, I'm doing great. That's why we ended up in this podcast, because if I were not great, I would have called you and say life is so bad, and I would cry, and then you would say oh, don't worry, life sucks, and then I would move on. But at this moment, I think I have a huge network of international people who are like my closest friends and who influenced my life a lot. So I felt first of all, connecting with you guys, what's happening with you guys. And this podcast is basically for my timeline, because when I'll be old, 8 years, and so if I'm alive till then, I would be cherish this moment that I captured all the great people who basically impacted my life and changed my life since 2012. So yeah, Christina, last 10 years, how was it? Tell me. I want to know more about everything. Because last time when I saw you, you were unmarried, and then you got married, and then you have a family, and yeah, great. just tell me.
We met in person was at Boston Airport when you left to Austin, I think.
No.
Or somewhere.
California. Yeah, I went to California.
To California. Yeah, somewhere. Just you left. Yeah, you left. Pablo and me, we stayed for some more days, and
you were crying.
You just left. Yeah, yeah, that was the last time. It's now over 10 years. So what happened during this time? It was a time with a lot of ups and downs, of course. I went back to Germany after our studies, and I started searching for a job. And even though I had a very good education, it was difficult for me to find a job, because here in Germany there are a lot of people who have master's studies and who studied abroad. And I was a business girl, not a mathematician, not an engineer, some business girl. And it took me around 3 months. And then I started with IBM first. And the IBM, they sent me to a client, one of the biggest banks in Germany, the KfW. It's a promotional bank. And let me explain what a promotional bank is.
Sure.
This bank is a supporter for the people. It's not a bank which is there to make profit like normal banks, but it's owned by the German government. And it's the bank of the German government to support people, or support different topics. For example, biodiversity or energy efficiency. When the German government says, well, we have to put money into energy efficiency, then they call up this bank, KfW, and tell them, okay, KfW, I want you to put $10 billion in energy efficiency. And then they do it. They put the money in the market and support the people.
Is it controlled by the government?
Energy efficient.
Is it controlled by the government?
It is owned by the government, and controlled by the financial control system in Germany.
All right.
But it's owned by the government. So the government tells the bank what she has to do.
Absolutely. So it's more like your government, like German government, figure out a cause.
Yes.
That is important for the society and important for
Yes.
all the well-being of German people. And they tell the banks, hey, you got to invest this amount of money for this particular cause. And how the banks are getting money, actually. Like, I'm not a finance person. I just want to know, like, how like banks cannot get the money from thin air. They need to get money from somewhere. So as they are investing for people cause, I don't know who is paying for it, because banks needs to survive as well, or it's just 100% government subsidized banks. So government takes the money from the income tax and put it to these banks, or how it works. Please. Yeah.
No, the bank is at the capital market. So they get the money from the capital market just as a normal bank.
All right.
And because this bank is owned by the government, it has a very high security. So they have very good rates for the other banks who are lending them money. And so they get very good conditions from the other banks. And this is how they make money, how they get it, and then they can give it to the people.
All right. Okay. So it's more like they're getting money from the capital market. Let's put it in this way. And then
let's make it simple. They get money from the capital market.
And then they are investing it on people cause, but and they're making how they're making business. Like I mean, not business. It's not a business bank, but how they're making money after they are investing on people. Like, is there any outcome of investing on people other than the social outcome, or
yes,
someone is paying for it, like people?
Someone has to pay for it. Yes, definitely.
Who you guys are paying for it through tax?
No, not through tax. So there are different sources for money for this bank. On the one hand, this bank has a subsidiary, which is a normal bank for the market, and this subsidiary makes money as a normal bank.
Yes.
And they get the money and give it to the mother company, and the mother company gives it to the people. So this is one way.
All right.
The other way is when the mother company gives money to the people, they take interest on this loan, just as a normal bank. But normally this interest is lower. Than the interest of other banks. Yeah.
I got it now. You know, I'm a dumb guy in terms of finance, but
You're not at all dumb.
Oh, all right. So that's great. Okay, great insight.
It works for the people. Yes.
Now, Christina, afterward, what happened?
So I worked for this bank first for IBM. I have been an IBM consultant, but then I switched to this bank, and I stayed with this bank for now more than 8 years, until the beginning of 2022. So this is a long time.
Okay, let me pause you over there. So you were an employee of IBM, amazing, and then they actually put you as a consultant in that particular bank, and then that bank hired you as a permanent employee.
Yes.
Oh, so isn't like betraying with IBM, because IBM actually gave you in rent, and you just said like, no, IBM, I'm gonna work with you.
No, it's okay. Well,
was there a procedure? Was there a procedure?
Yeah, it was all about perspective, because when I worked for IBM, they said you're gonna be an SAP consultant, and I was like, okay, maybe that's cool, maybe not. And then this bank.
So you went for the name IBM, like, IBM.
Yes.
That's why you didn't know
what
you're
going for the job. No. I went for IBM, of course, and I went for the job, because they said, well, we want to have you. You can go to project management, and so that was a good job.
Okay, great.
But then I figured out I didn't want to be an SAP consultant, because I'm not I'm a technical girl, but SAP was not my passion.
Okay.
It's too much techniques.
but SAP consultant, you know, if I talk about like big time companies like Oracle or probably SAP, as you were saying, or I don't know, there are other ERP systems. And
Yes,
if we talk about the consultancy firms, this is a big time cash cow for them implementing SAP in
definitely.
different organizations. And the
Yeah.
consultants who work for it, they are very high valued consultants, as far I know, because I implemented Oracle in two companies, and I have seen the consultants, not like German consultants, but they are working with Oracle, or probably they're working with other consulting firm like PeopleSoft and softwares like that, and they try to, when they come to Bangladesh for implementing the ERP system, they always consider as like, you know, high value people, and the treatment they get like amazing. Then I thought like I want to be an ERP consultant, but you became one ERP consultant and you didn't like it.
No, it was not my. No, I didn't like it. I just didn't like it. It was for me.
What part of the job were boring? Because you don't like boring things. So what
Yes.
part of the job were boring back then in SAP?
Maybe, well, maybe at this time I couldn't imagine what it was about. And I tried to figure out, so what would I do in the next year? What would I do in the next 3 years? And it was for me, it looked like, okay, you have to work on databases, you have to work on, well, I don't know, some SAP stuff. But this was for me not interesting. And then I had this opportunity from the bank that they said you can go into IT and you can have a look around in the IT. You will switch your job every 6 weeks and you will see something new. You do some programming, you do some strategy, you do controlling, you do some business consulting for the experts on the technical side. So they told me, okay, we give you time that you can look around and then you can choose what you want to do. And this was, on the one hand, I had the opportunity, you do SAP and you do database stuff. And on the other hand, I had the opportunity to say, okay, I will look around for 2 years and then I can choose. And since I didn't know what I want to do, I just took the opportunity where I have the opportunity to go wherever I want. And so this is why I switched to the bank, to KfW, away from
Awesome.
IBM.
So you got the opportunity, like you can explore as much as you can. So this is a great, I would say this is like awesome opportunity for any person who likes new things or who likes to do something new or impact the organization with innovation and stuff like that. And you got that opportunity. So how did you do it? How you exploited your opportunity, like in a positive way?
First, let me talk once again about this switching the job, because you asked before what I didn't like about the job at IBM.
Yeah,
it's not what I didn't like; it's about the new opportunity. You see, it's always the look forward, not that I don't like. I want to get away there, but there's something I want to get to, and it's just a different kind of perspective. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. It's
okay. No.
I get you. I get you. Like, you know, sometimes when we switch the job, we always tell the previous company was not so well, but your case was completely different because your previous company was treating you well, but at the same time, you got something that you always dreamt of and you felt like this is the right time and right opportunity I was looking for and I got it. So IBM.
And I took it.
Yeah.
Yes, and I took it.
Great. Now,
and yes. So these 2 years were great years because I got to know so many things, and I saw the complete world of IT from the bank, from strategy and controlling to business analysis and development and infrastructure, like really building some computers. You know, there's someone who needs a computer and you bring him the computer. And I did everything. Like everything in this whole IT, and it was good. And afterwards, I knew I want to do strategy, and I cannot. I'm not a developer. I'm not a programmer, and yeah, it was not. I did it, but it was not for me that I really liked it. I was more for the strategic things, and well, I did this. Then after this program, yeah, I did this for over 1 year, and it was good. I had great teachers, great tutors, great bosses, and I learned so much in this time.
Oh, great. So I would like to know that, in our country, if you are in a tech-based company, the tech team and the product development team, as you were saying, like you have seen building the computer and stuff like that. So in our country, when it's a tech company, these people actually gets the priority over the people who are who wants to develop this strategy, because this product development team or this technical team, they think that as they are the technical people, they can understand strategy better, and they want to push their ideas into the system, but which could be a wrong idea. And the strategists who wants to create certain changes, they actually don't get the opportunity, because the top of the top boss also thinks in the same way. So when you move from the tech team to the strategy team, do you get the similar value, or your value actually decreased a little bit?
Well, this is an interesting thinking about strategic people, because since I worked for the IT department of a bank, the IT is there for making the bank run. And so the strategy guys were very close to the bank business. And they said, well, the bank needs this and that, so we have to go right or left. And then the developer says, okay, then we go right. Okay, then we go left. If you say we go right, we go right. So it's like a chain of value chain. You're at the front, you have the bank business, then you have the IT strategy girl or guy, and then you have the developer. And the developer is there for implementing what the bank business needs, and the strategy just translates what the bank needs to what the developer at the end has to do.
Wow.
And you have to see it's a very, very big company.
Yeah. Now my point, the point I wanted to make is more like whether you got the same value or not. It's in case of banking side, I would say the technical people are the finance people mostly. In the banking side, if I talk about the technical competency for bankers, it's more or less financial competencies, right? So when you are in strategy team and the CFO or the chief financial officer is not agreeing with the strategy that the strategy team is pushing, what happens then? Like you do it either way, or you take a step back and research more and then approach the CFO again?
Interesting. Yeah, interesting. It's because we worked on the IT strategy, not on the bank strategy. This is something different. The bank has a bank strategy for the bank business, then a risk strategy to manage risk, and an IT strategy to manage IT. And so these three strategies, they have to be they have to fit together. And normally the bank business strategy is the one who is leading. And if this is okay, the other strategies just take this as the basis. And normally it is okay. And if you develop a strategy, you always have to talk to people. You have to do a lot of research, and then you talk to them, are you okay with it? And then you say yes or no. And if they say no, you have to do something different, or you have to tell them, no, it's good. And then you go into discussions with them. And normally it takes over 1 year, just 1 year, to review and develop the strategy.
Okay.
So
how the valuation works then? So it's the banking system and all the strategy team, they are collaborating together to put the and strategy team are proposing different strategy to the bank in terms of probably IT, in terms of risk management, and so on. And the banks and the strategy team basically sits together and agree on certain points, and then they go for it. Does it like work like that?
Yeah, you can see it like that. So in this bank, the business strategy is the leading one. So the business people say, we have to do that. We have to do that. And then the IT is for implementing. So the IT strategy takes the business strategy and the framework of the business strategy and says, okay, if we go now for more sustainability, we have to take a look at our sustainability factors in the IT. So this is then business strategy is always the leader.
Yeah, got your point. In your country, it works in that way, but and it's pretty much policy oriented. Like no one is there to break the procedure that you guys are following. But sometimes if I talk about our country in Bangladesh, yes, we govern by the policy as well, but these policies are not as strong as it should be. And like often the value chain actually breaks, the delegation of authority breaks, because you say here that strategy team will take, like they are leading everything, they are making the strategy, and other strategy teams are basically focusing on implementation. In our case in Bangladesh, probably it's not focusing on the department, but more focusing on the people who are more influential. It works in this way. So
interesting. Yeah.
So it's a that's why I wanted to learn about the value chain, because this is the best practice, I believe, that it's not depending on the people, it's depending on the team who has the responsibility and whether they are going with the responsibility, and the people who are responsible for what they are doing that part, not intervening in other people's day-to-day work. Now the next point, like, so you were working in this bank and you worked here for around 8 years, probably, or 9 years?
Yes, but only nearly 9 years.
Nearly 9
and
years.
I started in the IT, but then I switched to the business side and developed some loans and did all the business stuff. And I ended up at the end in the strategy team for the business strategy. And this was a great time. I worked there for more than 4 years in the business strategy team, and there I worked on different topics. Normally or mainly, I worked on the venture capital topics, and we founded another subsidiary, and which was a venture capital subsidiary, and to promote the venture capital market in Germany and to make it bigger, because it was not very well developed. And we had the goal, or the company still has the goal, to more develop the venture capital market here in Germany and Europe.
Oh, yeah, all right.
That was a great time. Yeah, good. I loved it. And this was my main topic. Yeah, I also had other topics like digitization and a little bit sustainability, but just a little bit. And process optimization. I did a lot of projects for the whole company, not only for the strategic department, but for the subsidiaries and for the whole company, actually, for every department. And I love doing projects. This is why I stayed in this team for such a long time, because I always had a new project, a new goal. Every 3 to 6 months, I had a new team around me, and new stakeholder, new players. I had to learn something new, and this is what I love to do, just doing projects. Every time you do something, you develop something, you have something at the end, really, you reach your goal, and then you start a new thing. This is kind of, this is my life, project life.
Awesome. Now, as far I know you have this knack for, doing the new things, creating something that is impactful. And you were still doing the same. To my audiences, I would like to say this is something that is really important, that you have goals, but most of the time, like, you focus on very long-term goal. Like if you think like, yeah, I want to be the richest man in the world, that is not a goal. That is actually not a goal. Goal is, yeah, that could be a goal. That could be a goal, but yeah, that's pretty ambiguous or vague. But in your case, the way you set your goal, you were clear about where you want to work, what sort of work you want to do, and you try to figure out the pathway during your journey. You just didn't give up in the middle. Like you didn't like being the SAP consultant. You said like, okay, I will suck it up for this time, but I will make my way to get into business consultancy. And then
Right.
you moved to IT consultancy, and then you went for business consultancy. It was a journey, like 8 years journey to reach your ultimate desired goal, that I always wanted to work for project management, business development, and stuff like that. And finally,
Right.
I got it. But it's not like the day one you wanted to be a business consultant, you become a business consultant. It's never like that. So to my audiences, I would like to say, make your goal big, but you have to short it down. You have to shorten it down, cut it down into phases, and it has to be meaningful, because it's a complete pathway. It's a journey. If you don't complete this journey, if you just jump, for example, if Christina, if you become a business consultant at the very beginning, like at the very beginning of your career, like you starting and you become a junior business consultant or something like that, would it be I would say, like, is it going to create the same impact in your career the way it's impacting at this moment, or it would
No.
act differently?
It's a very good question, because I thought about this. If I started as a business consultant at the very beginning, I think I couldn't value this job as I do it now, because I did so many other things, and I also did things which were like, everyday business. There are some jobs you do every day the same, and this is not a job for me. But I had to figure out that this is not a job for me. I had this feeling at the very beginning, but I had to figure it out, and now I know I love projects. I cannot do every day the same. I love projects, and this is now I can value the job I have now and the task I have now in this world, and can live what I love to do. So
Awesome.
to your audience, you don't have to know at the very beginning what you have to do, because sometimes you also can get lost. It happens that you get lost, but then a new door will open, and then you say, okay, let's take it. Let's take the opportunity. Let's just try it. And if it works, it's good. If it doesn't work, there will be another door you can go through.
Awesome.
And you will end up wherever you like to end up.
Yeah, because your destiny is there. Your destiny is written. But as our Professor Protana used to say, as Alice in the Wonderland, that if you don't know where you're going,
okay,
yeah,
any road can take you there.
Yeah.
I know. It's one of my favorite phrases.
Yeah,
and
my favorite.
Another favorite phrase. Do you want to hear another favorite phrase, which is, I think it's so important? It's, if you master listening, it's gonna be your greatest skill.
Yeah, so true.
Remember that one?
Who said that, basically?
Protano? Also Professor Protano. Of course.
He said, I remember, he said, don't even write your name without a number.
Yes, I remember that one as well.
He was so pissed off because everyone was like telling vague things, and he was, no, you have to use the numbers. Don't even write your name without the number. And I was like, okay, my name is Sabbir version 1.
It was good. It was great.
Yeah, it was great. we'll talk more about it.
Yeah.
We'll talk about our education. I would say the timeline during our masters. We'll talk about that. So Tina, we did our masters together. We were at Halt International Business School, and if you remember, I met you in the first time. For the first time, I met you in that depressing apartment. Do you remember that?
In the depressing apartment where I used to live?
No. Your one was better. The first depressing apartment that I used to live. You and Yana come over.
Oh yeah, I remember. Of course, with Yana, we came over and we were like, okay, that's okay.
Yeah, that's some brown dudes around. Yeah. But yeah, I moved on. I moved on by myself and ended up living with I don't know, where were they from? My roommates? They were from Iceland, probably. Yeah, I forget. Anyways, anyway, so it was great time. I would say education-wise, first module or the first semester was like, piece of cake, no pressure at all. And then the second semester started with Professor Protano with marketing. And I don't know, I felt like I'm just dead. I am no longer alive. And I was feeling you guys' pain as well, because I am the person who never used to sleep, but I have seen you guys not sleeping for nights and doing all the projects. So could you please tell, like, how bad how bad was it for you? Was it as bad as mine, or you have a different perspective?
Well, I cannot tell if it was as bad as yours because I cannot feel yours. I just lived with you through this second semester, and it was hard. It was really hardcore. It was like 7 days a week, 24 hours you were on duty, and you really. The good point about this is, so what did I learn from it? It's I learned how much I can work, how not much sleep I need, and that I have to take my times off. You cannot work, well, I cannot work 24 hours, 7 days a week for a long time. I can do it for 3 weeks, 4 weeks, but that's maximum. Then I need to take some time off, like one afternoon, go on a bicycle, go to the woods and go with the bicycle through the woods, which was very important for me. And but when we talk about how it was hardcore time. It was a good time, because we stayed together. It made us, it built a team with us, built a team
very
with
true.
us. It was a good team because we lived together actually at Halt.
Yeah,
in the silent sleeping room.
Yeah.
It was great.
It was study room, actually. We made it a sleeping room.
Yes, definitely.
Like we passed out. Like most of the time, we just passed out.
Yeah.
And we didn't care.
Like walking, and then you fell down like this.
Yeah, true. So true. But one thing, it was it was a great learning, and through you, it clears a lot. Like, we made a great team during the second semester because of and I would say it's because of Professor Protano, because of the pressure. He was the only villain in this movie. He was the guy we all hated, but ended up loving him a lot. So basically, he gave us a lot of pressure, and he made us feel life is not justified or favorable to you all the time. You have to deal with it. You cannot take a break. There is no tomorrow. And as a result, for our own great sake, we had to stick together as a team. We had no other option. For example, if you had option to go by yourself, you would have taken that. I would take that opportunity to stay by myself because, I was an introvert person back then. And yeah, I would love that, but I had no option. So we were bound to make great teams among us, not only within our team.
Each other.
Yeah, not only within our team, but also the other group members, other groups.
Yes.
We were never been in the same group. Thank God we'd never been in the same group. We would hate each other probably. So we never made a group together. You and Pavel were in the same group once, and Pavel was sometimes pissed off and saying things about you downstairs when you were smoking. But
yeah, I can be when I work, I can be harsh. I can be direct, and
yeah,
it's not for everybody. That being direct is not for everybody.
I asked Pavel in last podcast. I asked Pavel, like, okay, choose between one, Yona or Christina, and he was telling me like, no, I cannot choose anyone because you cannot compare apple with orange. I said like, it's not apple with orange. It's like whether you would like to have apple first or orange first. And and he said, I wanna have them together. And he
like
said,
a fruit salad.
yeah. And he said, Yona helped me. I'm to my audiences, I'm talking a lot about Yona. Probably she will come to my podcast. She's a person, we both of us, Christina and I, call her
we love a lot.
We call her an achiever, right?
Yeah.
And she was an IBM consultant and deliberately left his job and became a fitness trainer for mothers. And I really want to know about it, like how she is basically doing. So definitely, I will try to bring her in my podcast once. So back to Christina. What I was talking about. You
were talking about the question you asked Pavel about the fruit salad.
Oh yeah.
First
yeah, I remember. I remember. Now I remember. So he was telling me, Yona helped me a lot in my bad times, and Christina also helped me a lot in my bad times. Both of are a really good person. But I said, no offense to you, I said, about Christina, she can be really an asshole if she doesn't like someone. She can act really weird. If she doesn't, she would be loud about it, like, hey, I don't like you. And Pavel said, why not? That's the right way. Whereas Yona was more diplomatic, and she was like, oh, I like you, but she will never give that person that space. And you were just loud about it. If you don't like someone, you just say it, like
I would tell the person.
Yeah, you just not telling is a good thing. You will push that person, actually. You like back off.
Yes.
and I like
I remember
it. and I like it. And I gave a choice to Pavel about like choose between Patricia and Jericho, and I was telling that Roland will kill me now. But he chose Patricia over Jericho because he knows Patricia more than Jericho. He was super diplomatic. I will get into this point with you as well. But,
oh my gosh, why? This is a hard point,
Yeah, but you have to spit it out. You have to say it from your heart. You cannot just be diplomatic as Pavel. Pavel was in my first podcast, so I excused him. But I will not try to excuse you or anyone later. I thought like, no, this is like, dumb. I'm asking you a question and you are saying like, I want to have both. No, it's not possible. Anyways, we'll get into that. So now tell me. Oh yeah, sure, Christina.
So what do you want to talk about now? About studies, about Professor Portana, or about my job?
No, we will get back to the study part one more time. We will get back to Boston one more time. Not about the study part, but about the fun part, about Pink House and all. I want to talk about those because these are the things which actually impacted me in such a way that I am a person right now, and 80% influence are coming from those 2.5 years probably with you and the other people I was around. So definitely I'll talk about those parts. But now I want to know, so what happened now? You were in this bank, KFW, I believe.
Correct.
Yeah. So it's a great bank. I just Googled it, and it's big. It's huge, and it's a huge deal working over there. So 8 years passed. So, and you were doing your dream job, being a business consultant. And then what happened? Why KPMG now? KPMG is a great company, like a great company. Anyone would even, I don't know. I would definitely consider it as top of my priority list if I got the opportunity to work at KPMG. But being Christina, as a person like you, who is not that much of who doesn't bother that much about the name of the company, rather the work of the company. So what happened actually?
What happened? Well, I've been at the KfW for 8 years, more than 8 years, nearly 9.
Yeah.
And I got promoted 4 times. So, and there are 8 promotion levels in KfW. And you can, as a normal person, you can reach 5 promotion levels, sometimes 6. Promotion levels 7 and 8 are very, very tricky, very political, and I'm not a political person, so I thought I will try how far can I go. And I told you I managed 4 promotion levels. And for the 5th promotion level, they told me, well, Christina, you don't have enough experience. And I was like, okay, what? I work for you for more than 8 years, so why don't I have the experience? Well, this and that, and yeah, you don't have enough experience. And I said, okay.
Do you think that is a bullshit? Do you think that is a bullshit excuse? Do you believe in that?
I don't know. This company is very stable, very, very German company. So it is all a little bit slower, not so fancy, not so funky. It's like you have to be really stable in what you do. And I think I was for this company very pushy, very not loud, but when I want to do something, I normally do it. And this is something which was not so the culture of the company. Mm-hmm. But the point is at this moment when they said you don't have enough experience, I was already thinking also the half a year before about getting out of my comfort zone and about that I had reached a point of life or a point of my business life where everything's okay. I got used to it. It was like laying in the bed in the morning, when you're in the morning and you're covered with your blanket and everything is good. And this was the feeling I had when I was there. And I thought about, okay, this is not me. I need to do something more. I need to get out of my bed and do something new and get out of my comfort zone. And then came this point, you don't have enough experience. And then I said, okay, there are 2 factors which tell me now you're too much focus on your comfort zone and they don't want you. So what did I do? I said, well, then I will do something else. I will quit. The world is bigger than KfW, even though I love my job. I love the people around me. I had a wonderful team. I had a wonderful task. I had wonderful bosses. Everything was perfect. But I said, no, I want to get out of my comfort zone. I want to do something new. I want to challenge myself and see how far can I go? Because at some point there will be limits, but first I want to try how far can I go? And then there came the opportunity of KPMG and I said, okay, then let's try and work at KPMG. Why not?
So you believe that the comfort zone you were having, it was more like a toxic comfort zone for you because you wanted to do something different this time, but things were like you reached your goal and the goal is not diversified anymore.
Yeah.
So it's more like, you know, we read the product life cycle. So you completed the journey, it went to the maturity level. Now the comfort zone was basically declining your capacity or capability, and you could not take it anymore, and you wanted a new challenge to, you know, reinvent yourself, and it's a new growth curve for you. Is it like that?
Yeah, it is definitely, it is like that, because it's, for me, it was at this time, it was the feeling like I know the people, I know the company. I had a very, or I still have a very, very good network because I did so many things in this bank, and it was, I knew everything around me, and I started, so I did a good job, but I started not to be that present in this job as I used to be. You see, this is when you do something on a regular basis, you start to be, well, you know what you do, you do it like every day, and it's just normal for you. And this was for me a feeling I didn't like. And so I reached my goal, I settled, and then I said, I reached the maturity of my product lifecycle, and then I had to do the next product lifecycle. And it is definitely like that. Yeah.
Great. So now you got into KPMG. So what's your role at this moment? What do you do?
I'm manager at KPMG. Manager is it's a leadership role, and I'm project leader for different kinds of projects. And I got into the topic sustainability and sustainable finance. And for me, this was not completely new, but very new. And so I had the last 9 months, I had a very good learning opportunity. I learned so much about sustainability the last 9 months. It was crazy. And I work there for banks. So I'm a consultant for banks, for the management, and doing management consultant normally for sustainability strategy and business development in sustainability. And well, we do all different stuff, like analyzing the decarbonization roads for a bank, for example, and then implementing this into business. Because if a bank wants to decarbonize their portfolio, they have to develop also their portfolio. Because if you have in your portfolio businesses which are still working with coal or with oil and gas, they are not good for your decarbonization way. And so you have to deal with these people or with these companies. And this is what we do. We talk to the banks, we consult them, what they can do, what can be a good way, how is their actual or their situation now, how should it be in 5 or 10 years. And this is what we do for the banks in Europe and in Germany.
So it's more like you consult the bank how they will invest their money in this cause of, you know, sustainability. Is it like that?
Yeah, you can. Simply spoken, yeah, it is like that. You say, well, if you want to be sustainable, you have to do something, because you are not sustainable because you write down and you communicate that you're sustainable. You also have to do something. Otherwise, it's only greenwashing.
Yeah, true. But you know, if for sustainability, for example, if you decarbonize and you go for, you know, green energy, from my perspective, I'm not saying anything, like I'm not judging anything, just it's my perspective. Like when you want to go for the green energy part, like, you know, electric vehicle, then for electricity generation, windmill, or what they call like hydro something,
hydrogen.
Hydrogen as well. So you can to establish that infrastructure, you need to use the traditional electricity generation process, and that will also incur the carbon emission. And I was just thinking how you are going to protect that, because it's like if you say that this is the first photograph before the camera invented, or this was the era before camera was invented, but if you have to create the camera first to capture that era, you just cannot do that thing beforehand. Okay,
Yeah.
so so it's like if you want to get the green energy, you need to use the traditional method to establish that infrastructure. So I don't know, isn't it kind of funny that you're focusing on something, or you're focusing on creating something that has to be created through the thing that you don't want to other people to follow?
Yeah, very good and very smart conclusion. But the point is, to become sustainable or to decarbonize the portfolio of the bank, you're not doing this in one day. You're doing it over a long time. And the goal, the Paris goals aim for 2050. So a long time from here. And that normally the decarbonization path is not like this and then going down like that. It's like more like that. Yeah.
Okay.
And so you, of course, you use at the moment the traditional way of getting energy, but you transform it more and more. It's a transformation process to green energy. And yeah, this is how it works. And this is how it works also in a bank. And the point in the bank is they give out loans normally. Yeah. And when you give out a loan, you can decide, do I give a loan to a company which says, oh, well, I will always, in the next 100 years, I will work with oil? Or do you give a loan to a company who says, okay, at the moment I'm working with oil, but in 5 or 10 years, I will have my whole electricity from green energy. So and then you can choose which company do you want to give the loan.
It's more like this is shit, this is also shit, this shit smells lower than this shit.
The point is, when it smells like shit, it probably is shit.
Yeah, so true. Yeah, I understand the point. Basically, you cannot just like it's stupid from my side as well, because you just cannot one fine morning wake up and say, like, from tomorrow we are going green. It's not possible. You need a timeline for this. You need to cut down the carbon emissions slowly. You cannot just do it in one day, otherwise the whole world will stop. It will not work anymore. Yes. So yeah, right. You have to go there, you have to get there, but you have to bite the bullet at the same time, because this is the process. But yeah, I understand your point 100%. And do you think being a business consultant and now being a manager at KPMG in banking and financing for a cause, how it is, like how it is different? Definitely it's different from your previous job, but at what extent it's giving you better dopamine extraction, like dopamine extraction in a sense, like better feeling that, yeah, I am doing something better at this moment than previous one, if you compare your current job versus your previous job.
So first I have to say, I love my previous job. It was really a good job. So, but it always gets better. And so what I do now different. The previous job was one bank and one world. I could influence the bank as much as I could at this point. And there was only this one bank as instrument. But now at KPMG, as an external consultant for the banks, I can be useful for a lot of banks because I gain a lot of knowledge and I can help them with my experience to go on a right way for sustainability. So I have much more impact than I had before. And this is something which gives me a good feeling that I have this opportunity to have, or this potential to have impact on the bank sustainability in Germany and Europe.
Cool. But I have another aspect of the question, could be a bit uncomfortable for you, but is it paying more than the previous job?
You mean financially?
Financially, your salary is better than the previous salary?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So that's one of the reasons basically you switched. If your salary was not better than the previous one, would you be switching?
No, my salary now is better than the previous one. I wouldn't switch if my salary was worse.
Yes, that's the question. So,
yeah.
You know, I don't want to.
But I'm not only no. Just listen. I'm not only switching because of the salary.
But salary,
because I already had a good salary.
But salary is a very important parameter here.
Component, yeah.
Like for the people who want to switch their job, definitely one of the core aspect is whether you are having, like, whether you are doing the job that is that you like or not. Second thing is, are you in a toxic comfort zone or not? And the third part is, are you getting an opportunity with which or are they valuing you higher than your current organization?
Yeah.
So these are
very
the three
good salary. Yeah.
These are the three parameters you should focus on.
Yes.
While switching a job, right?
Yes. I support this summary.
Cool. So yeah, this is a very important. I will cut this part and I will upload it as a short. Like, you know, if you want to switch a job, there are 3 check marks. Number 1, do you like your job? Number 2, are you in a toxic comfort zone? And number 3, whether the new opportunity is valuing you more than the current job you were doing. And if it's a checkbox for you, go and switch the job. Otherwise, don't do it. Yeah, nice promo.
I support this. Yeah, but I think it's important also to talk about salary, because I believe that there is a certain range you have to earn to be happy. Because I think happiness and salary, or happiness and money, goes together. It's not that you need at some point, you need money for a living. So you also can be happy on a lonely island and you don't have anything, right? But it's, for me, it somehow goes together. It's not that you can separate completely.
Some woke people are there who would always say, like, you know, money doesn't matter. Money cannot be a factor for happiness. But I absolutely agree with you in this point, because money cannot be the only reason to be happy, but money is an important catalyst to make you happy. It's a very important catalyst.
Yeah. And I believe that if you have reached a certain amount of money, you won't become happier through more money. You know, I believe that if you can secure your life, you can buy whatever you like. You know, not like you buy 3 houses because.
Okay, my question.
Nobody needs 3 houses.
How much money is enough money?
Oh, good.
How much money?
Okay.
Yeah.
How much money is enough money? I can only speak in German terms, because I don't know in US or in Bangladesh how much you have to earn.
Yeah, you can tell it German terms. I can convert it, no problem. I will calculate the inflation ratio and stuff like that, no problem. You can tell me how much money is enough money for you.
So enough money for me, because for me and my personal situation, I think around 80 to 100,000 euros in German terms.
100,000 euros.
80 to 100. So I think 80
let's put it 90,000 euros. Okay. So 90,000 euros in a year, right?
In a year, to live a good life in Germany. Very important, because life in Germany is very, very, very expensive.
Yeah, I can understand that. Is it equivalent to Boston or
No, it's more expensive than Boston.
more expensive? Okay, if it's more expensive than Boston, it makes sense. Like per month, you need how much then? Let me calculate. So it's 93.5. And if I divide it by 12, it's like, yeah, 7,000 euro a month. That's a lot of money.
And you have to think about, but you pay also 50% of tax. So
you pay 50%, so it's like 3,500 euro.
Yes.
Oh my God, that, okay.
And this is what I think you need for a family.
Yeah, I agree with you. I like to live a decent life. It's not like to live a rich life, but a decent life.
Right.
Yeah, it's around, like in Bangladeshi term, it's around 400,000 Bangladeshi taka per month. So which makes sense. Because if you want to live a decent life here, 400,000 is like you can live a very decent life, but yeah, in terms, if I calculate the exchange ratio and the living standard, definitely I would say the amount you said is, I would say it's the a bit better than the basic level of living standard, right?
Right.
Like you have a house, you have a car, okay. You live okay. Right. So you live okay. You think that's like enough for a human being living in Germany? I
think that's enough. Yes, for a human being to be happy. So this is, if you have more, it's good, because then you can go on travels. But
let me tell you one concept. Let me tell you one concept. If you remember Maslow's hierarchy, right?
Of course.
We love Maslow's hierarchy. So Maslow's hierarchy, if I tell it like at the very bottom level, it's physiological need, then it's safety and security, then love and belongingness, then esteem, then self-actualization. Right. So when you have, like, you say this amount of money will keep you happy, but being a human being, our perspective is, if we jump from one layer to another layer, that luxury becomes basic need immediately. For example, when I didn't have car, I was moving by public transport, and it was all right with me. I loved it. There was no meeting. There was not a day when I missed any meeting, or I wasn't able to go to office or something like that. It was completely normal for me. But the moment I possessed a car, later on, when like in 1 day or 2 day, if I don't get the car, I used to get agitated, because I felt like that is now my basic need. So your theory of happiness actually sustains for shorter term if we talk about human beings' happiness, because this year someone is getting 400,000, like someone is getting 7,000 euro a month, and next month he will think that I want to get more, or I at least don't want to get less than this anymore, isn't it? So if a person is getting, for example, 10,000 euro, that is higher than what you said, that means that person has to be more happy, or that person needs to be happier than you, because that person has higher payment or higher pay ratio than you. But after 1 month or after 1 year, if that person gets kicked out from the job and get a new job with 7,000 euro, like from 10,000 to 7,000, he would be sad as fuck. Pardon my language, but he would be sad. So it's could be, and could be a standard that 400,000 will keep you alive, but or 7,000 euro will keep you alive, but it's for short term or one single term. When the term changes, it needs to increase to keep the happiness index higher. Otherwise, the happiness will fall down on its face. If I am making any sense, like I'm talking lots of philosophical shit, I know.
Yeah, I understand. I understand. But only if you do it like, well, it can happen. And I know there are people who, the more money they have, the more luxury they need, because they just can't afford it. Yeah, if I have more money, I can buy a second car. Oh, I need a second car. This is now my new standard. But I think this is a lot about mindset and about how you think about money and about life. Cool. Because if you say, well, if I have now, for example, I had 10,000 euros per month, so 5,000 at the end. This is a very, 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 in my perspective, very good salary. What would I do with it? I think I wouldn't spend more money on luxury because I don't need it. Because I think, well, why should I buy a second car? I have a car. It's a great car. I love my car. And I wouldn't buy more stuff. And I think it's just about how you use the money then and what you think about what to do with it. Because you also can just put it aside and see, well, sometimes maybe I want to go on a big travel around the world. And then I need a lot of money. But it's all about, in my case, well, it's all about mindset and what you think about how to use money.
Awesome. It's a great point that how much money is enough money. It's a great point that it depends, number one. And number two, it depends on what? It depends on your mindset. So if your mindset is like someone who believes in luxury, for them, if you give them 100,000 euro a month, still it wouldn't be enough for them. But if you have a mindset that I want to keep running myself in a standard way and I will not waste my money, luxury is not a thing that would bring happiness for me. Rather, being just solvent and living my life with different adventures might give me happiness. Yeah, it's all about mindset. So Christina, from your perspective, what I understand that salary itself is relative and subjective. It depends on how people what sort of mindset people have to spend their money, and based on that their happiness actually can vary. Some people can be sad with a lot of money, or some people can be happy with less money. Just it depends on if money is a catalyst for you to become happy, or money is the thing that makes you happy. So as long as you are considering money as a catalyst or a parameter, one of the important things, it's fine. You will be happy in any ways. But if money itself becomes the core thing for you, that smell of money makes you feel better, then the case is different. Then you should go and see a doctor.
Definitely. And everything is possible. I think everybody has his own thinking about money and his own mindset. And so if somebody's happy making a lot of money, then go for it. If you like it, go for it.
Yeah.
If you say, well, I'm happy with a certain amount of money, okay, that's fine. Then do something else. What is your self-actualization? Yeah, I know people who love cutting trees. Oh my God, they have good money, but they love cutting trees. This is their self-actualization. So it's good for them. So yeah, go for it.
Yeah, in our country, I don't know whether she is still alive or not. Probably she's not. But there was this beggar who used to come in a car and sit in front of a mosque and start begging. That's her job. she took it to a next level. So she was like this. I heard it from my parents. Basically, it was long back, and right now she's not alive, but yeah, it depends. Probably she was self-actualized that makes her happy, asking for money.
Probably.
Asking for money to the people.
She
Yeah,
loved the smell of money, like holding
probably.
it in her hand and smelling it.
Probably. So, Tina,
Okay.
we talked about your job, what happened in last 10 years. Now, let's get into something informal. Let's talk about your family. And I don't want to get into very personal details, but I would definitely like to know what you have done in this Christmas. How was it? And how were you with your parents or with your in-laws? How was it in general?
Yeah. Well, last Christmas
Like,
last
yeah,
Christmas was, it was. Christmas is always beautiful here in Germany, and I love to celebrate Christmas with my family. Last year's Christmas was very tough because my mom died last year
oh, I
in
didn't know that.
October.
uh
Well,
I
she
didn't know.
was sick for a long time,
Oh,
and
that's
then
sad.
in October it definitely was very
Yeah,
sad, and then she died. And so Christmas was different than the Christmas celebrations before, because she was always in the middle of everything. We have always had a great dinner, and she was cooking and preparing, like what moms do when there is a family celebration. They prepare everything. And last year, in 2022, my sister and me, we did all this. So we prepared a big dinner, we prepared the Christmas tree, and we had the whole family around. My dad is still alive, he's still there, and my brother is also there, and my grandmother and aunt, and everybody was there. So we were about around 12 people. It was a good celebration, but different than the other Christmas celebrations
definitely.
before.
Definitely. Your mom used to cook a lot, probably. Uh,
Yes.
and this time cooking was definitely less. Yeah, I lost my father back in
Yeah.
2020. I guess I told you about this, and it's
Yes.
horrible. Like someone you love or someone you admire the most, and suddenly one fine morning you wake up and see that you are not getting a call from that cell phone anymore, or you're not getting a
Right.
text where it's written that, mom or something like that. Because I remember
Right.
back in how days when we were having very tough time, and we were saving money because Boston was expensive as well, and we were cheap people, so we were saving money. And then your mother said, you don't have to worry about the money. I want you to have good food, I want you to be
Yes.
healthy, and and don't worry about it. And I have seen the joy in your face on that day, and you started spending more money. That was not a good advice, though. but
Well,
but
I didn't spend too much money, but I started spending
yeah,
more money. Not only food for free,
yeah, true.
not only
Like it was like
pizza bread.
Mark and I was like searching for free food always. I had a podcast with Mark, but that was very formal, and we talked about the formal things. I just want to, the basic reason to do this podcast with the friends. Uh, Basically, I miss you guys a lot, because those times were great. It was very short
Yes.
period of time, but we had certain connections. Because back in my country, or back in your country, you had also friends for many years, but they were not living through your pain. But what I
Right.
believe, that we were living through each other's pain. When we were sad, we didn't have our parents to go and share it, or my close friends back in my country wasn't there to share. And And if anyone is in shitty situation, the other person always moves forward to support. Like for me, you, Pavel, Roland, Mark, Yona, everyone, like whenever I was sad, you guys didn't even give a second thought. Like you said, like, okay, come over, or I'm coming over.
Yeah.
Even if like at some point of time, for some reason, I still don't know, but you were pissed off at me at in one semester probably, but I don't want to get into detail. Let's not get into detail, but yeah, you were pretty pissed off. And one day you called me because I didn't call you that day, and you called me and started talking in German. And I said, like, what are you talking about? And then you said, oh, sorry, I was about to tell this thing, and you started talking in German language at the very beginning, and I didn't understand anything. But the thing was the connection we had, and I don't want to lose it. I kind of miss it, and at this moment, this will be archived forever. Like, I know what exactly you were doing. I learned a lot of things from you, because you become smarter. You were very smart back then, and you were both you and Pavel, you guys were the smart zone, and I was the one who just tried to adapt with from my perspective. This is completely my perspective. You don't have to agree with that, but from my perspective, it's like going with you guys and adapting with you people made me feel that, okay, I can basically break my comfort zone. So I broke my comfort zone, because if you see like all the South Asian people there in United States, they were hanging out together. I was the odd one who was not that much hanging around with them. In fact, I had fight with them. Anyways, I don't want to get into that part. But the fact is, you guys made me feel special for some reason. I still have that book with lots of photographs, and I watch that sometimes. I still say that's the best gift best gift one can ever give to another person. I got this thing, and I was like, it's all the special memories, and you handpicked the photographs, you print it out, you made a nice book. I will scan it. I will post it somewhere probably. But this is something that I always cherish. And most of the time, I got into teaching profession. And most of the time when I try to talk about the struggle of life, all the stories of Boston come along, because that was the time. Because back in my Bangladesh, I was like living a cozy life. But in Boston, things were completely different.
Right.
And I always bring that topic because you guys influenced a lot. Anyway, so let's get into the part. First, explain what is a pink house actually.
Oh, the pink house. It's not a pink house, it's the pink house. It was the pink house in Boston. It was a real a normal American house, like you see in the movies. Yeah. With this veranda and this 2 doors and a little backyard. And yeah, but in this house there used to live some people, Jonna, Mark, what was his name? Petra? I think Pete.
Yeah,
right.
Pete, yeah, we used to yeah, Petra, he's like Pete.
Yeah, and
Naresh,
I don't remember the other. Naresh, oh yeah, I totally forgot.
Okay.
No,
all right.
No, I didn't forget about it, but I forgot that he lived in the big house.
And Naresh was there. I really would like to talk to Naresh because he was the only Indian guy. Naresh and Pratyush. Cool. Pro and Naresh, both of them were cool, and Pavel and I made a lot of fun about it, but still I love them. And I will definitely try to connect with them someday. Yeah. And afterwards Pavel joined, Roland and Patricia joined as well, right? Yeah.
But after the house, right?
After house,
Afterwards,
yeah, yeah, afterward they joined.
And well, in the pink house, we had the greatest parties, and we had the greatest dinners, and well, a lot of fun. And
Yeah,
I remember the one evening, I think, when we were together and we made music together.
yeah,
Nobody had an instrument, but we just clapped in our hands or made some different noises or some other music, but we made music together, and this was such a great moment. And I still remember that feeling of just
so true,
feeling the vibes together. It
so
was
true.
great.
And Roland and Pavel were rapping and beatboxing.
Right.
Yeah.
And Tala was dancing like this belly dance.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
she was good. I would like to connect with Tala as well. Like lots of name coming along. Definitely these people were great people. I don't know how they're doing. Definitely another one is Michelle. I would definitely like to talk to Michelle. What she's doing, I have no idea at this moment. But very soon I'll be talking to Diego and Natalia Vesnovskia. So hopefully, actually, they agreed with my point. So let's see. Okay, so Pink House was a fun house where we used to have a lot of fun. Lots of weird but great people were there. And if you get inside the house, all the people's country flag were hanging. They hang their flags at the very entrance. So you go inside and you see different flags. And there was this dining room where we used to sit and play so many things. I don't know, bananagram was one of the thing we used to play with, like, crossword kind of thing. And then we used to I don't drink anymore, but we used to drink a lot of beer and vodka, and we used to do some weird chat thing, I don't know what's the name of that website, but random people come along, pops in, and weird people, and the camera always switch. Yeah, weird people. Like most of the time, I don't want to say it in my podcast, but most of the time it was very inappropriate angle of view, like when of the people, because they're like sitting and doing stuff that is not so comfortable to watch. But yeah, we used to do that thing as well, and so many weird things. And I bought a guitar. And
Pink House was great.
Yeah, I remember.
Pink House was very good. And you remember the one evening when we went back to our apartments from Pink House and we found the couch, the sofa.
Oh,
and we tried to transport the sofa on the bike.
I really want to call Pavel at this moment, because I said at the very, very beginning that this is not possible. And Pavel was like, oh, Sabbir, you are a brown guy, you are weak, and you guys are so pessimist that you don't even try. And I was like, okay, let's do it. And then you were like, we can do it. And we were transporting a big ass couch on a bicycle that is like $80 bought from Target. And that's not even I don't know, that's a very weak bike. It was your bike, I believe.
Yes, it was my bike, and my bike broke afterwards, but it didn't matter. We transported this couch, I think, some meters, but it was
it's like 1 kilometer we walked with the couch, and I said like it's not possible, and we were fixing the bike, and Pavel was coming with a mathematical solution of putting the couch on the bike in such a way so that it does not fall down, but nothing worked. Why you guys even thought of brought a second-hand couch at your home with such hassle?
I don't know, because it was for free.
Yeah, it was for free.
Because it was for free.
But it was a nice couch, by the way. It was a very nice couch. Some rich guy threw it away. Yes. Yeah, for the people, for the international students who are watching my podcast, I would like to say, like, it sounds really crazy, but at the very beginning, these things are very expensive there, like a mattress or a couch. So we try to, we try to figure out who threw the couch or who threw the mattress, and We try to brought it in our house, and it happened so many times. So there's nothing wrong in it. There's nothing wrong. Sometimes bed bugs are there, but there is nothing wrong in it because because you are living a life all by yourself, and everything is worth it. It's every bit of thing is a learning for you, every moment.
And the point at this time was we had to try. If we didn't try, we would have thought, okay, what would have happened if we tried? So we tried it.
So true.
It didn't work. It's okay, but first try it, and if it works, it's good. Then you're happy. If it doesn't work, well, you at least tried it.
That's why it changed my perspective of life. Like when I came back to Bangladesh, whenever someone says like it's not possible, I was like, let us try in a different way. Let us try in a different way. Then if we fail, we can say it like, okay, we tried, but we couldn't do. We know 10 different ways of failing. This appetite wasn't there, but it came afterwards. And another appetite or another behavioral change in me was is like timing. Still, I'm not as good as you and Pavel in terms of timing, but I remember we were heading towards a club one night, and Pavel said like, I'll be waiting for you at 8 o'clock, 8 o'clock dot. I said like, okay, no problem, I'll be there. So I was there at 8:05. So I was like 5 minutes late, and Pavel wasn't there. And I called him. It's like, you were not there. So I moved. I said like, 5 minutes, bro, you could have called me and you said like, where are you? It's like, no, you said 8 o'clock, you weren't there. I left. And then it took him more than 40 minutes outside of the club, giving me the direction how to reach there. I said like, if you would have waited for 5 more minutes, you wouldn't have this hustle. And he said, no, it's a great learning for you. You will never be late with me anymore. I said like, okay, no problem. And I was like, I was furious. At the same time, it was a great learning, because now my whole perspective changed. If anyone asked me to be somewhere, I try to reach there beforehand, like at least 10 minutes before, so that I don't waste that person's time, because that person's time is valuable. And for the people for who are listening to my podcast, I would like to say that please value other people's time. 1 minute is like, in 1 minute, your entire, like in 1 minute, one person can die. So many good thing and bad thing can happen within a minute. So don't let other people down by giving them time and you are not showing up on time. So being punctual is one of the core thing in terms of time management, and time management is one of the core factors in leadership. So if you want to be a leader, if you want to be a manager, if you want to be a people person, being punctual could be one of the best competency that you can acquire without investing a single penny.
Yes, definitely. I want to support that, because in my perspective, being on time is a part of being respectful to other people, because the other person takes time for you. And if you're not there, then you're wasting the other person's time, just as Sabbir said. And it's just the point of respect to the other person, and leaders need to be respectful to others.
So true. I definitely agree with that. So Tina, we are almost at the end of our podcast. I learned a lot of things from you about your life, about your job. So interesting. Like, you have this interesting up and down in career. It's a complete journey for you, and you are still continuing with your journey. And I hope and I pray that you become more and more successful. You keep on earning more and more money, and someday you can send me a ticket and I can go and see you.
I want you to work here. I mean, you can work at KfW. It would be a great company for you.
I don't know German language. I just downloaded a software that will teach me different languages. So probably I'll try to learn some languages. I really want to learn 2 languages at this moment. One is Chinese, another one is Arabic. Now, now let's see. And I missed so much opportunity. Like Tala was there. I could have asked her, like, teach me Arabic. That would be really interesting. But
it's different. It's completely different.
I didn't ask her.
Yeah.
Definitely, I'll ask her later. Anyway, so
but
now,
I think,
sure, please.
wait, just one thing about this. I think, of course, there was an opportunity, but you have to prioritize what is important for you at this point of time. You cannot do everything at the same time, because then the quality will decrease massively. So, well, my way is focus and prioritize what you have to do, because then you can concentrate on it, and then you have a good quality. So if there's just at this moment my priority is to make a good job, I will do everything I can, focus everything on my job, and then there's just no time to do another language or to learn to play violin or guitar or whatever. But if there's a time when I say, okay, job is okay, I need another priority, then I just switch. And so I don't think that you missed an opportunity, but you had another priority at this time.
So opportunity is there always. It will come and go, but you need to prioritize which opportunity you will capture. Because if you try to capture all the opportunities, the quality of the opportunity will distort, and end of the day, you might become the jack of all trade but master of none, and that jack of all trade isn't good enough in this 23rd century.
Right.
Now, okay, Tina.
So you want to wrap it up?
I wanted to wrap it up. So let me ask you some rapid fire questions. What do you think? Like, okay, I will tell one word or one person's name or some name of something, and the first thing comes in your mind, you say that. Okay. All right.
Okay.
So I will not give you the option to choose between two persons, because sometimes that's not cool. You will try to be diplomatic. So I will ask different people's name as well as probably different things name. Let's see how it works.
Let's see.
So first of all, Boston.
Oh my gosh, it's international, intense, and impactful.
Wow. Yeah. So Boston, international, intense, and impactful. Yeah. If Bostonians would be really, really happy to hear that. It was intense, by the way. It was really intense in terms of weather. It was intense as well. Yeah, there was like blizzard going on. There was like, some sort of tsunami is going on.
And remember the Indian guys who came without shoes during the blizzard?
Yeah.
They were nearly barefoot, and I was like, oh my God, why can't you have good shoes? They said, no, then my feet will smell. And I was, okay, but now you have cold feet. You're walking through snow with cold feet, but they were okay. I said, okay, then do whatever you like to do.
Yeah, it's a cultural thing. Their feet just smell worse than white people's feet. Anyways.
Okay, good. Let's get back to these questions.
Second question is okay. So second question is Indian food.
Oh, yummy. Indian place, yummy. But you need a good Indian place, yeah? In Germany, there are no good Indian places, just no good Indian places. It's just horrible. But I loved our Indian place.
Yeah,
and Boston I love naan bread, and I love samosa.
Yeah. You guys were paying extra bucks to get extra piece. Pavel was like, I want to have 2 of these. Okay, now, Roland.
super smart guy. And I remember we had this walls you could write on, and one time he wrote like on point 10 on this wall, the whole wall. Like I was, okay, this is impressive. He's definitely smarter than I am. Well, this is okay to be smarter than I am. There are a lot of people, but this was
True.
so impressive. I will never forget that.
Yeah, Roland was like talked about a lot of thing, wrote a lot of thing. It's like, okay, this is the plan. Do you guys understand? And Mark and I was like, no. he was like, he was
No.
he was pretty smart. And he is in fact, he's doing really good as far as I know. Diego.
Also super smart. And I remember Diego, this evening when we walked home, or we went home by bicycle. It was very cold, and we stopped at the river, at the James River, and thought about what will stay in our heads from this time in house. And then we managed, well, we discussed that what will stay will the feelings we have for the other people. It's not what we learn in finance and the weighted average cost of capital formula and all this stuff, but the feelings we have for the other people. And this is Diego.
Yeah.
Remember that evening.
So true. Like you and Diego together, you were like asshole combo. Pardon my language. Both of you were like, and Diego was like, Sabbir, we can walk there. And it's like 5 miles and it's nothing for I'm like, no, I don't want to walk there. Like, no, we can walk there. And anyways, he's a great guy. Okay, Yusuf.
Oh, Yusuf is, that he died last year.
Yeah.
And Yusuf, he was open. He was, and very accepting in terms of he accepted people as they were. And this is something I learned from Yusuf, that you accept people like they are. Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. And I remember sitting with him in Lingos and drinking coffee. Great time.
Yusuf was so down to the earth. If I compare his financial and social status back in Egypt, he's an Egyptian guy, but he was so down to earth. He never showed his pride about what he is. But later on, when I figured out, I was like, wow, impressive. If I had this social status, probably I would act a bit different way. Anyways, so now Pavel. All smart people, yeah. Don't say smart guy. Yeah. Say something interesting.
I'm sorry. Oh, my aunt, she had a crush on Pavel.
Yeah, he had this curly hair.
She had a crush on Pavel.
Yeah.
And I remember Pavel and me, when we had this card from the world card.
Oh,
and then you asked. No, I won't say that, but I love this. And Paul was just like, okay, Christina, you explain.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you can say this story. I was just confused about Alaska.
Yeah. Okay, so we had this card of the world, and there was Alaska on the one side and Russia on the other side. Yeah. And then it was how was it?
Pavel was telling me that Alaska was a part of Russia, and we sold it to United States with $50,000. That's Russian business. He said it, and I was confused. I said, like, how Alaska is at one side of the map and Russia is on the other side of the map? How come Alaska a part of Russia? And Pavel was looking at me and like, oh my God. And I was like, I still didn't understand. And then you started laughing. And then I got it. Oh no, Earth is round. So it's like, go on the other side, connects on the other side. Oh, okay.
It was great. It was great. I loved it. Yeah, this is, well, I connect with Pavel. My aunt had a crush on Pavel this day with the world map, and yeah, well, he's a super smart guy, and he was a guy who could do two things. He was a very good listener on the one hand. When you had to talk to him, he listened very well, but he also told you when you did something wrong.
Yeah, on your
when
face.
I behaved like an asshole at some point, he said, Christina, what the heck did you do? Why did you do that? You were acting like, like out of space.
And he's like,
that one. It was good.
Very upfront and straightforward on this. And right. I love him. Okay, so now my point is, do you think American education actually impacted positively in your career in Germany?
No. I'm sorry, but no. But because in Germany, we have a different kind of education. I think in Germany, the universities in Germany are much more theoretical, and they are much more like working from bottom up, so that you really understand your business and really understand how are the financials calculated, and you really, you have so much knowledge here in Germany. And this is something when I went back from the US to Germany, which other students or other master students had more than they had more knowledge than I did, because in the US I learned a lot, but not as much as they learned here. And I learned on a different way. I learned much more soft skills and much more presenting. I was very good at presenting and selling things. And here in Germany, they were good at knowing things. And so at the beginning, it didn't help me. Now it's okay. Now I can keep up with them in knowledge terms. But I think the education system in Germany, I think you have to combine somehow. You have to do your basic education here in Germany, and then go for 1 year to the US to learn how to sell things, and then you come back. Then it will work.
Yeah, so it's for me, it's the same. My communication got really better after I went to US and came back. But in terms of acquiring knowledge, US was more like, giving you the reality slap all the time, that you are there, and if you want to build your career, you have to sell yourself. You are a product. So first of all, like, you need to know how to talk and how to communicate and how to network with people. Anyways, Tina, it was really great talking to you after so many years for such a long time. It's like 1.5 hours we talked, and I got lots of great insight in terms of soft skill and technical skill as well. I really love that right now you're working at one of the top companies in the world, KPMG, and you are doing a lot of things which actually impacts to the positivity of the world, like sustainability and decarbonization and stuff like that. That is really great. You're like, in terms of sustainability, somewhere 0.001% contribution belongs to Christina, and no one can take it from you. Yeah. All right then. So Christina, thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
And it's pleasure having you with me. And please subscribe to my channel. I want to subscribe for Christina, one of the prettiest girl at Boston. and okay. Anyway, so take care, Christina. I believe we will connect soon again. Okay.
Yes, and thank you very much for the opportunity. It was great talking to you, and I hope we will talk at another day.
Sure. Bye.
So, greetings to Bangladesh. Bye.
Yeah, bye.